Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here. We're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of July 3rd, 2025. The current character challenge is Dawn of Justice Wonder Woman. That is a 1-week repeat. The required characters for that are Aquaman, Cyborg, and Superman, who are the challenge gold, bronze, and gold tiers, respectively, if you're looking at the lowest tier, the easiest way to get each of them. Mm-hmm. Her passive is Sword of Athena, which is Wonder Woman's special attacks trigger team health gain, which provides 50% of the special attacks damage in healing. She's got 1100 attack, 1400 health, and was last available on June 20th of last year, so just over a year ago.
Yeah. So let's go for the obvious. She's got decent high stats. Unfortunately, it skews a bit towards health, which is not what we prefer. So around the same time way back when, there were two skins of Wonder Woman that were released. Justice League, who has since been renamed New 52 Wonder Woman, and Dawn of Justice Wonder Woman. Both of them had a passive that helped her teammates that triggered with their specials. New 52 gave power. Dawn of Justice gave health. And if you've been following us for any length of time, you'll know which one we favored. We even had a team at the very beginning where we carried both of them. And New 52 Superman, New 52 Wonder Woman, and Dawn of Justice Wonder Woman, that was our first attempt at a Justice League team way back when. The more we played, the more we recognized that we like having more offense. So we eventually replaced Dawn of Justice Wonder Woman on that Justice League team, and we rarely use her except when, I mean, technically we're not forced, but when we feel like we're forced. And given that they were both released around the same time, I'm going to talk about them like they are basically twins. So there are two ways that Dawn of Justice Wonder Woman is better than her twin sister. Her passive helps all teammates, not just Justice League. Mm-hmm. And the second thing where Dawn of Justice Wonder Woman is better is her tap basic combo. The combo ender has 3 hits instead of the usual 1. So her light combo does more total damage than her heavy combo as long as the combo ender triggers. So that's good for any gears that have a combo ender effect. So if her tap combo ender triggers about half the time, the average damage output is the same as her swipe, because half the time you get 15%, half the time you get, is it 9, 10? Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9%. Yeah. So that's 24% on average, divided by 2, it's 12%, same as her swipe combo. Yeah. But in the spirit of using each character as the main damage dealer, we are focusing on using her as our main damage dealer. And by default, or by necessity, being a specialist with Tantu Totem Master's Death Card. Mm-hmm. And when you're using this twin, you really appreciate how good New 52 Wonder Woman is and how much more effective generating power is. Yeah. So this time around, we are slotting her into a team with Rebirth Raven and Hawkgirl to demonstrate her strengths and some of her weaknesses. The description of her special 1 talks about it like having multiple hits is a good thing. Not true. Instead of a quick fling of the shield that would let you reload quickly, it takes way too long to complete for not enough damage. Mm-hmm. And that's the main reason we avoid Claw of Horus on her. Not here. But generally it's not as effective because her special 1 can't shatter multiple gears quickly. And gear shattering is most helpful on Astral Harness. And that's when during the invulnerability, you can get like 3 gear shatters in quickly. Mm-hmm. Can't do it if she can only get 1 special 1 while the opponent is invulnerable. Yeah. Her special 2 is one of the ones that changes if the opponent blocks, losing the last 2 hits after the second minigame. And to make up for this, I think the first 2 hits have a pretty good range, and the last hit has pretty good range, but that's only if it actually engages, if it processes. And you don't need to be close to your opponent for them to land. And despite having a damage over time effect on her special 2, the special 2 gives full damage for what her attack stat is. And this is not only unusual, I think it might be unique. She might be the only one who has full damage, special 2, at no cost because of the damage over time, without having a special passive that includes a damage over time. Mm-hmm. So the problem with her is, I mean, we keep on talking about problems with her. The damage over time triggers on the last hit. So there is no damage over time if the opponent blocks because the last hit doesn't happen. And the last hit doesn't happen. Actually, you know what? If you knock out the opponent with the first hit, the second hit doesn't hit the opponent even though the pause makes it look like it should. And the third and fourth hit won't process. Mm-hmm. So even though she can knock out the opponent in front of you on more than just the first hit, effectively, she doesn't get any extra hits after knocking out the opponent on her special too, which is not great.
Yeah. So there we go. This is 62 weeks since the end of the challenge cycle as we knew it. We are 8 weeks into what looks like a repeat of a cycle that is 54 weeks long. Updated from, what it used to be, which was the 43-week cycle.
Right.
So next week, we expect to see Mortal Kombat X Scorpion.
Right.
This week's multiplayer reward is Suicide Squad Joker Unhinged. His passive is Unhinged, which is the Joker can't wait to show you his toys. A powerful random effect will occur on his special one. After Joker defeats an opponent team member, he drives them insane and they will fight for you with reduced health. Can be triggered twice if using a team of 3 Suicide Squad characters. You've got 1,400 attack, 1,300 health. Last available on November of 2024. We've had a bit of a weird thing happening with the multiplayer rewards where we've had some interruptions but then corrections. So the cycle's been a bit strange, but it's mostly just been on track. So we expect to see the overpowered super next week.
Right. So on the face of it, he looks pretty good. He's got 1,400 attack. He's got 1,300 health, really high stats. But his passive actually makes him worse. The passive makes him worse than a character with no passive. He is a bad card if you actually want to use him.
Yeah.
Is that not clear? Was I clear enough? Is there any ambiguity there?
No.
Okay. So you'll eventually win, but you have to waste time with your potentially weaker opponents. So when a card is driven insane by his passive, it has no passive, it has no gear effects. You get 1/3 of the health, and it slows down, say, farming. Because if you're using Joker to do anything in the fight, he beats an opponent, you temporarily replace him with a weaker card, and
it just slows way down.
Yeah, 0 gear effects. So decreased damage opponent, slower fight, and that gives your opponent time to build up some power. And the powerful random effect, poison, power drain, life drain. I'm not a big fan of random effects. So one specific use case where if circumstances are perfect is if you're in Survivor facing much more powerful opponents and you can time it perfectly so that someone else does all the work, but Suicide Squad Unhinged gets a knockout, he could be useful having the stats of a much higher powered opponent. But that's not easy to do. His main saving grace, why he's not the most useless character, is that he is still helpful to Suicide Squad Harley Quinn if you don't have the regular better Suicide Squad Joker who has similar stats at 1350 and 1350, and an actually useful passive instead of a passive that makes him worse. So either Suicide Squad Joker can come in and attack during Suicide Squad Harley Quinn's special 2 if you pick the Joker card. So that's the one area where he's actually pretty good.
Yeah, so most of the time, though, it's just not worth it. It's not fun to have to play a little while with a really sort of weakling character and then jump back to normal play. It really messes with the pacing pretty bad.
Yeah.
Moving on to the store, we have the character bundle Darkside War for $24.99 Canadian. That's the price that we know because that's the currency information we have access to.
And that's the only currency that matters.
And that comes with Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern, Apocalypse Darkseid, and their 2 gears.
I think it might even be officially her name is Rebirth Jessica Cruz, but I can't remember. In my mind, she's always Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern.
That's
she's
fair.
a Green Lantern.
Yeah. We also have, or no, that's
the Survivor Pack. No, we got the Survivor Pack.
That's true. Okay, so that's 670,000 credits. It comes with Mortal Kombat X Scorpion, and
it says Scorpion.
Yeah, what it means is Mortal Kombat Scorpion, as well as Bounty Hunter Lobo.
Yeah, so Mortal Kombat Scorpion as opposed to the third skin, which is Scorpion Classic or Classic.
And
Scorpion.
if you're early in the game, right, power credits for guaranteed set of characters, like getting to Elite 10 or as high elite as possible set of characters is pretty good, right? That's a good starting sort of thing. Or early to mid, right?
Yeah.
Where you've passed the early phase where you're just grinding up to gold characters and you're sort of passing to the phase where you want to get a solid team going.
Yep.
That's sort of where that's good for you. Phantom Zone is back for 2 weeks. And then it'll be off for 2 weeks again after that. Fight 62 is still broken.
Well, it won't be after 2 weeks. I was sort of mishearing what you're saying. I'm misprocessing.
Yeah, Fight 62 is still broken. We have double XP this weekend, probably for 4th of July for the States.
Maybe. I mean, a lot of this is American-centric.
Last weekend's breakthrough for golds was Deadshot, Wonder Woman, and Static. This coming weekend should be Zatanna, Flash, and Solomon Grundy. We have a link in the description to a thread on the subreddit from Devlin16 that goes over the complete breakthrough cycle if you want to check that out yourself.
Right.
And as far as current glitches go, we go into more detail every time something significant changes, which didn't happen this week. But also, we do a more detailed review on the first week of every month, which is today.
Yeah.
So this is...
Oh, actually, you know what? And since we were talking about July the 4th, we forgot to say to people, because we didn't post anything, Happy Canada Day.
Yeah, I guess so.
July 1st. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see a video tutorial of every current working glitch in our playlist, current working glitches, which will be linked in the description. And you can also find it in all the ways you'd normally find a playlist.
Okay, so when you said that, it made me think of Green Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you said you see every current working glitches in our playlist called current working glitches.
That's true. It's labeled correctly. So we are on Android only. So we're only able to help for Android, so none of this stuff will apply for iOS. And then in terms of stuff that we're going to talk about first, we're going to start off with not working glitches, stuff that you might be looking for or that you did at one point and are like, oh, can I still do that? And the answer is no, but it's harder to actually find that information.
So there is no working glitch for credits. We talked about this in more detail in previous season 6, episode 9 of our Q&A, which used to be called our P and Q and C and A and T. The main thing worth repeating to the larger audience here is that some people have been successfully exploiting a glitch that requires 2 devices being logged simultaneously into one account. We only endorse or recommend or explain glitches that we test and confirm ourselves, and being logged into one account on 2 devices is bad. It can mess up your account, potentially get your account suspended, but also potentially corrupt the data on it. Don't do it. Glitch for getting repeated past multiplayer season rewards, not working. Glitch for early multiplayer season rewards, it's not working in a way that's exploitable. If you end up not getting your rewards after multiplayer season, very often it's because you got it early
and badly.
Yeah. So, nothing that you can use there. And there's no glitch to get through Phantom Zone quickly, although we do have a playlist of some speed runs through Phantom Zone.
You can do it fast enough that you don't really need a glitch.
Right.
The glitch to let you get free energy without watching the video is not working. That is separate from time shifting for free energy. We have...
Yeah, okay, so... Yeah. And that's the list of the main stuff. All right, so working glitches. Mm-hmm. So the glitch to let you play Phantom Zone repeatedly is still working. As we mentioned in the glitch video, its greatest value may be avoiding the 50 nth medal that it costs for the 2 replays that you normally get, since it takes a lot of time to play it through completely 3 times on the elite level. Mm-hmm. Challenge reset method that requires Google Play Cloud Save is working, confirmed on the current Dawn of Justice Wonder Woman challenge. 2 most common problems. One is that the cloud doesn't appear, and that happens because you're disconnecting too early. And 2, the progress remains even though the cloud appears, and that's because you're disconnecting too late. Mm-hmm. So it's a matter of timing. And once you make that initial adjustment, that's actually a pretty easy way where you've got the indicators for which direction you need to go in. Mm-hmm. Challenge reset can remove Phantom Zone progress when the Phantom Zone is present like it is now, because they're essentially the same glitch. So if the Phantom Zone... So if you've got Phantom Zone progress and you've got Challenge Zone or Challenge progress, keep in mind when you do the glitch, you are doing both. You're resetting both. And in my mind, the Phantom Zone progress is the part that takes the most time. Mm-hmm. So really just be careful when you do that. Have a clear idea in mind of what you're actually doing.
Yeah. And in the description, we've got a comment from Kakde that goes over how you could move data around instead of needing to re-download data when you're clearing app data for your account.
Right.
If that is a problem that you're running into, which is making you sort of download more than a gig of new stuff every time you clear your app data.
Right.
The breakthrough glitch to let you play it repeatedly is still working. The airplane mode / refund glitch is working. That's good for packs with random drops and last laugh tickets. It doesn't work for anything that requires an internet connection to redeem it. So that doesn't work for the Phantom Zone. That doesn't work for any like real money purchase packs, anything like that. Right. And we recommend against doing the variation where you switch between accounts instead of clearing your app data. Again, multiple accounts or multiple devices on the same account. risky, right? Not worth it. There's
right.
bad stuff might happen, even if most of the time it doesn't. So that 1% of something really bad happening, or whatever it is, there's no percent amount that makes that little bit easier doing these glitches worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Time shifting still works in Android for unlimited survivor play and energy recharges. Remember, return your cooldown clock back to normal before you finish. That is probably the number one reason why people have corrupted accounts where they say, hey, where's the event? Where's the challenge? Where's the Phantom Zone? Where's whatever? This is what usually causes it. When you've shifted the clock, there's a mismatch between the time on your device and the server, and stuff doesn't show up when it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm. And in between not working and working glitches, we have the promotion glitch, where you can promote characters that are still locked. Hasn't had the right conditions since update 2.14 years and years ago. So it's not testable, not usable, but technically it has never failed us. So we keep it in there on a technicality because you can't stop us.
Right.
So there we go. That will do it for this week. To finish up, we'd like to give a huge thank you to all of our lovely patrons on Patreon.
That would be Michael Devries, Irvin, Ruiz, Hoshi127, Nora Klimek, and Miguel, who are supporting us on the credited level.
So there we go. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.